Welcome, everyone, back to the Forbidden Mountain. Today, as you can see on the screen right now, Scott and I have two brand new card reveals from Into the Inklands. We're quite excited about getting into these. So, before we begin, Scott, any little hints?
It is two franchises that I am not 100% familiar with, but very excited are joining Lorcana and Into the Inklands.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where when I got the first card, had I not seen Scrooge McDuck on it, I wouldn't have even known where it was from.
That's fair. Yeah. But we're very excited to reveal these cards
All right, here
for
we go.
Lorcana.
Let's get in to
Yep.
a little bit, right? So we're here for Into the Inklands, of course, and I'm not sure exactly what number this card is that we're revealing, but it is the Vault Door. So, Scott, a little bit about the Vault Door. This very well may be referring to Scrooge McDuck's Money Bin, which is a fictional location in the Disney universe associated with the character Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck is a wealthy and iconic Disney character known for his love of money and his adventures in the pursuit of wealth. The Money Bin is essentially a large building where Scrooge McDuck stores his vast fortune in the form of gold coins. It's often depicted as a tall tower, like a structure filled with piles of gold and other valuable treasures. The Money Bin has been featured in various Disney comics, animated TV shows, and movies, including popular TV series DuckTales. In DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck and his grandnephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie often find themselves in various adventures involving the money bin and Scrooge's wealth. The money bin has become an iconic symbol of Scrooge McDuck's character and his obsession accumulating and protecting his wealth. All right, Scott, so that's the lore behind this card. How about you tell me what it does?
Sure. So the Vault Door number is a Sapphire card. It is a 4-cost inkable item card with the ability Sealed Away. Your locations and characters at locations gain resist 1. And we know resist 1 means damage dealt to them is reduced by 1.
Right.
And it has the art of apparently a vault door, which we believe is leading to Scrooge McDuck's money pit, and it has the number 1877 on it, which I thought was pretty cool.
I did find out today that the 1877 was actually the year that Scrooge McDuck got his first dime.
And we've seen that card.
There we go.
Hmm.
So let's discuss the card at length here. Clearly, it is a resist card. Now, two key factors here are your locations and characters at locations gain resist 1. So all of the characters on screen here, or the item in mouse armor that could potentially be paired with this, granting additional resist to the game. For the most part, we can kind of agree that in set 1, resist has just started to make its waves within the metagame, but not fully. And cards like the Prince, who only have resist 1 and still are vulnerable to some of the bigger rush characters in the game, cough, cough, fox, are still struggling. So, what could this card do for these characters with resist?
Sure. So, Cogsworth Grandfather Clock is pretty ubiquitous in the meta right now with the Sapphire Steel decks that are doing pretty well. And the reason you basically play him is to give resist 1 to the rest of your characters. So Vault Door kind of acts like a slightly cheaper Cogsworth with all your characters that are at locations. A lot of times, depending on what your matchup is, you're not looking to actually quest or exert Cogsworth in any way, shape, or form until you have at least like sometimes 2 of them in play, so they give each
Right.
other resist 1. So Vault Door existing without really actually having to like exert it. The only thing it's really vulnerable to is item removal, which is obviously less common in people's decks than like waste steal with characters. So if you're looking just for the ability to have resist 1,
Right.
and you have a way potentially coming up to move your characters to locations at a much cheaper rate to give your entire team resist 1 without it really costing you a ton. If you can afford to take that turn off, I think getting resist 1 and then the characters we saw on screen, giving them an extra resist is just going to really help them be able to quest, challenge, do whatever they're going to do and move the game forward. In my opinion, all you really need to do is use this card to make a trade in a challenge and survive it that you weren't going to do otherwise, and you make up for the card disadvantage just playing this on the table and not immediately getting any use out of it.
Right.
So as long as you're able to basically save your characters one time from one effect, cause your opponent to take one card and use it extra, and this just sits in play until they deal with it, I think in the long term, as long as you can afford to take one turn to get it into play, that long-term advantage you're going to get off it, I think is going to be really powerful as the game goes on.
Okay. So the other interesting fact here is we had a card revealed today, which was Belle's House, that has synergy with items. We also have, of course, the wonderful characters of Hiram, Maurice, and Scrooge McDuck himself. So Vault Door could fit into the item synergy decks as well.
Yeah, and the good thing about Belle's House is that if you the character that you move to that location, to Belle's House, to make Vault Door cost one less, is also then protected by Vault Door because they're at a location. It also, because it has 6 willpower to begin with, it'll have resist 1, which means it's going to be more difficult to deal with. Just like all locations will have resist 1, they're all going to be more difficult to deal with. But having 6 willpower and resist 1 puts you out of that all important Maui range.
Yeah, I think Vault Door is really interesting. I think the key factor here is we're learning through the reveal of this card that locations can have keywords.
Yep.
Which I found very interesting. It was one of the first things I had noticed about the card was, oh, okay, so what other keywords could they have? Ironically, it is actually a little bit difficult, but there could be a way to give locations evasive.
Sure.
I thought about that. I thought maybe
Mhm.
that's kind of interesting. Obviously, there's no reason to give it rush. There's no reason, unfortunately, to give it singer because it's always exerted. But I
You
thought
could have
evasive
ward
was,
though, and that would be really powerful.
what was that?
It could have ward, and given the fact that
Right.
we've seen what is it, the Zeus card,
Yep.
the song,
Along Came Zeus. Yeah.
yeah. So it can be protected from like direct removal like that as well.
Yeah. So ward, evasive,
Yep,
resist. Time will tell. There's be more additions, but I thought that was the last key takeaway. So let's get into our second reveal, Scott, because
yep,
it's fun.
yep.
We already laid some seeds. It's okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. So let's talk about the map of Treasure Planet.
So the map of Treasure Planet. So as we all know, Treasure Planet is a Disney animated film released in 2002. Past my time, I will say, which is a futuristic adaptation of Robert Louis Stevenson's classic adventure novel Treasure Island. In the movie, the map to Treasure Planet is a central element of the plot. The map is a holographic navigational sphere, and it is crucial in helping characters locate the legendary Treasure Planet, where immense wealth is said to be hidden. Instead of a traditional paper map, the characters use this advanced technology map to guide them on their way to their journey. The map is linked to the legacy of Jim Hawkins' father, who discovered the coordinates of Treasure Planet but was unable to complete the journey. Throughout the film, Jim uses the map to navigate through space and various challenges on his quest for treasure. The design of the map and the concept of a futuristic space-themed adaptation of the classic treasure hunt story add a unique and visually stunning element to the film. Treasure Planet is known for its blend of traditional adventure themes with a science fiction setting, and the map plays a significant role in driving that narrative forward. So, I fully admit I have not seen this movie, but I imagine this is the massive MacGuffin of the story that just leads them on their way. Please tell us in the comments below if it's not just a giant MacGuffin and it actually is crucial. But to me, that's what it's like the Ark of the Covenant type of situation for Treasure Planet.
Yeah, I've never seen Treasure Planet. I think even a couple weeks ago, Kylie tried watching it and she turned it off. I'm sorry if I'm throwing her under the bus here, guys. I know you guys are huge fans, but let's break into the card.
Sure, yeah.
So the map of Treasure Planet is a 3-cost inkable steel item card with key to the portal, which is exert this. You pay 1 less for your next location you play this turn, and then an additional ability of show me or show the way. You pay 1 less to move your characters to locations. So on the screen here, we have a list of all of the wonderful locations that Scott thought was reasonable. I can't believe he didn't include the Forbidden Mountain. I can't even fathom how you did this. But hey, here we are. By exerting the map of Treasure Planet, the turn that you play it, you actually have the ability to play any of these 1-cost locations along with the additional ability of being able to move to Neverland or Deville Manor for free.
Or Montanui, which I think is probably most important.
Right,
Um,
but that card costs 2, so we can't play that in
right,
combination with each other
right,
on 3, so I didn't include that one yet, but
right,
it's obviously very good.
right. That's true. That's true. So
So let's talk this one out, right? This one has 2 abilities, which I think is very, very good. I think it's very powerful. And I think this was a card that location decks were in need of. There's a lot of discussion around cost, around the cost of moving, all the additional costs for the characters to get to the locations, to get the abilities. This solves a lot of those problems.
yeah, so we've seen some characters that want to move to locations. We've seen some locations you want to move to. I think being able to play locations for one cheaper is just icing on the cake. I think that the static ability of just letting all your characters move to a location for one less, even if it is exerted to play its first ability, is the most important part because you can really, if let's just say for the first, let's say you play I think the ideal time to play this is on turn 4, for
Yeah,
example. So you're going into turn 4, so the first 3 turns of the game, let's just say you played characters. Turn 4, you play Map to Treasure Planet, you exert it, you play Montanui, for example. Now all your characters can move to Montanui for free.
yeah,
So what would typically happen in that situation if you weren't like if Montanui was just being played on turn 4, you can move 2 of your characters, but this allows you to move all 3 of them there and use the ability right away.
yeah,
So I think that's really powerful because now you basically have a static ability that's going to stay in play, and you're basically probably gaining 1 ink a turn to be able to use it to play other locations. I mean, the ones we see on the screen are the ones are the most important ones, in my opinion, that combo with this that we've seen so far. But in reality, like if there's more locations, like you can go from one to another. You can have more than one in play. So depending on like how you space out your plays, you can probably make use of this on an every turn basis, especially the moving cost reduction. But if you can make use of the playing location cost reduction, also it's going to be you don't find that very often in an inkable card, and that's what I
right.
really like about it.
Yeah, I've ironically when I first read the card, I thought you had to exert for both abilities. Once I realized that Show the Way was not that case, I was like, oh, this card's way better
Yeah.
because the fact is the turn that you play it, play the location, and already that ability's turned on. And even in a world where Sapphire Steel decks, focusing on those early game characters, a lot of them are low strength, high willpower characters. So you might even be saving them on, like kind of just stacking them up. If even we just say like Tiana and Prince Eric, and then like a Mickey Mouse detective or something like that. They're all 1/3s. Obviously, Prince Eric trades up pretty well, but you might be able to utilize 2 of them immediately
Yeah.
to make a trade and then go up 2 ink. So now on your next turn, you're going to be at 7 or 8 ink just from this card to utilize it even further. I think that's really great. I think taking Fang to be a 3/1 is probably really, really good. We also don't have it on the screen here, but the Sorcerer's, I forget the name of it because I suck.
Sorcerer's
The
Tower.
the
Sorcerer's
broom
Tower.
location,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that has 7 willpower. So like,
Mhm.
getting this into play for cheaper, the longer it lasts, moving to it for free with brooms, and now being able to move it to it for free with other characters for cheaper
Yep.
to get the
Yep.
extra lore. There's a lot of synergy going on. I honestly think Map of Treasure Planet is going to be pretty phenomenal. So let's discuss the other part here. Obviously, is characters that move to locations. Now we do not have that many so far.
Correct. Yeah.
Peter Pan is the very clear favorite here. For him to be able to move to locations for free,
Yep. Mhm.
that's that's pretty good, Scott.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that ability not costing you anything means you basically just gain lore for free every single turn.
Yeah,
And he can technically if you have, like, a location in play that gives you an ability like that, the Maui location, for example, like the Maui Secret Isle or something like that, that gives you resist 1, and
yeah,
then you have another location in play that gives you lore. He can bounce back and forth. He can't actually gain lore from
right,
both of them, but he can bounce from the one that gives you an ability to the one that gains you lore, right back to the one that gains you an ability, and so on and so
right.
forth for
So
free. if they both have a one move cost. So pretty
And
powerful.
it's not out of the realm of possibility that we get a card that reads when you move to a location, do X. So let's just
Mhm.
say it's another item.
Yep.
So if it's in Emerald or it's in Steel, and you have these cards like this that can freely move, to and from, all of a sudden you're setting up this like weird infinite combo type thing. I think because of Peter Pan's wording already, probably will be restrained, but
Mhm.
it is creating this world where if you want to, you can just move Peter Pan over and over again to different locations. I don't know. We'll see if there anything comes with that, but it is one of the things I thought was quite interesting about it. So any last words for the map of Treasure Planet?
I think it only gets better as more and more reveals that have to do with locations in this set and beyond. To be honest with you, um, are revealed. I mean, there's only a few on the screen that we picked, but I'm sure in 2 weeks' time, we could fill the screen up with different options that'll take advantage of this.
Very more than likely. Yeah, Vault Door ironically works with Map Treasure Planet, so it kind of worked out for the double reveal here for this video.
Yep.
Sapphire Steel already leaning into Resist with the potential of leading into some locations. Definitely all works out. So I can already see a deck kind of shaping up here, which is nice as a nice way to start. For sure. So we'll have to see if these cards pan out. I do think that Treasure Planet, the map of Treasure Planet likely has more of a success chance overall, but there's some chance for the Voltor for sure.
Yeah, the Vault Door I also think is very good and limited in
Oh, that's
sealed
true.
in sealed deck, because I think there's just more of an opportunity for there to be challenging where your stats matter, and then resist is always going to be important where your stats matter.
Yeah, very, very true. Well, Scott, as always, we have to thank Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger for allowing for us to reveal these two cards. Huge shout out to Rochelle and the team. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate being able to do these reveals. If you like this video and you haven't yet, hit the like button for me. And of course, if you're brand new here, looking for more content revolved around Into the Inklands, make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks.